Hey, what's going on? My name is Brandy Shaver, and I am joined here by the Carrie Heim. We are two of the 5 beaches at Beach Boss Influencers, and we have something incredible lined up for y'all that you're going to want to be a part of. Carrie is a mom of 3 who went from broke and living in her parents' basement to building a network marketing empire, topping leaderboards with the fastest scoring teens in 2 separate companies and helping grow a multiple 8-figure business using the exact system we now teach our students. And today, we want to dive into that system a little bit with you and make sure that you stay till the end because we have a huge announcement that you are not going to want to miss. So, Carrie, let's talk about some of this. I want to go dive right in, and I want to talk about what inspired you to actually get started.
Well, it was a phone call that came into my husband from Brandy herself. No, but that really is. I think a lot of people when they get started in network marketing, it's usually a phone call or a message or they see a post on social media but I'm kind of like anybody else that got started in network marketing. I had someone who cared about me, Brandy, that saw that my husband and I were really going through a tough time financially. My husband had been laid off for the second time in our marriage, and it was because technology replaced him. He was a dental technician by trade, went to school, spent a lot of money, and you know how when you see that like everything you've been working for is kind of falling apart? That's exactly where Whit and I were. And through no fault of our own, the decisions that we had made, life changed. It threw us a curveball. And I am forever grateful for Brandy, my fellow Beach Brandy, because she didn't prejudge us. Anybody else would have looked at us and said, these two are not worth, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, right? But she gave us a call and she's like, hey, I'm doing this thing. You guys may be interested. You may not be. And I knew it was network marketing right away. And Brandy could even tell you, I was like, no way. We are not doing one of those things. We always say God has a sense of humor. And he definitely had a sense of humor with that one because I said I was never going to do network marketing. I was never going to do one of those things. But he had humbled us enough. He had humbled us enough to take a look. And that was kind of the beginning of our story, but it wasn't the end of our problems by any means because Brandy and I, we were building old school. And if you're watching this, wherever you're watching this, say hey. If you're watching a replay, maybe give us a replay in the comments. But if you're live, I'd love to know. I mean, even if you're on a replay, I'd love to know. But, what was it for you? How did you get started in network marketing? And then what are some of the things that you did to try and grow this thing? Because Brandy and I were old school. We were old school builders. We were reaching out, making a list of 100 people, reaching out to everyone, inviting them to home meetings, coffee shop meetups, whatever that may be. We had a home meeting every single week at either Brandy's house or my house. And we were trying to get people. And I've never had so much rejection in my entire life. And I remember Brandy and I, we were about 6 months in. I had enrolled 0 people, no customers, no team members. And Brandy and I were looking at each other, and Brandy was better at this in the beginning than I was. You got to give Brandy credit where credit is due. She was at least enrolling people, but her problem was they were enrolling and then disappearing as fast as she was enrolling them. Meanwhile, I couldn't recruit. Man, I couldn't even get my mom to sign up with this because she felt bad for me. I was struggling so bad. And 6 months in, we're like, this isn't working. What are we doing wrong? So we go to our upline, we call him up and we're like, Mr. Upline, what are we doing wrong? And he says, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just not talking to enough people. You're not talking to the right people. So Brandy and I were like, you know what? We come from a teeny little town. We're going to pack up in the car and we're going to start going and finding people. And that started an 18-month journey of driving sometimes up to 8 hours one way just to try and prospect people in malls, Walmart, Starbucks, you name it. If there's like a place where a crowd of people are and they're gathered, we were there. And we got really good at starting conversations, but I still couldn't get anybody to cross the finish line. And after 18 months, I think I maybe had 3 customers and 1 team member that was still around. And we knew we had to do something different. And how many of you watching, maybe you've been at it for a while, maybe you've grown a small team and maybe it's falling apart, or maybe you are just stuck. You've hit like a plateau and you're like, we've got to do something different because what we've been doing isn't working. Or maybe you've never had results like me and you're just like, I just need someone to show me what to do to find the right people and enroll them into my business. And that's where Brandy and I were. And Brandy, she was like, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to do this online. There's a whole story about how that happened, and maybe we'll share it on another interview, but another bidding bill. But we were like, you know what? We've got to figure out how to grow this thing online and how to grow it in a way that's duplicatable for anyone, regardless of where they're coming from, regardless of where they live, regardless of previous results, whatever that may be. And that's what we did. And it was kind of through like divine intervention. We found a mentor that showed us how to grow our businesses online in a totally duplicatable way. And it's now a system that we've put together and we've designed to help anybody that wants to learn how to grow network marketing from the ground up, or maybe, but really it's like, how do you hit that 6-figure mark? How do you hit that 6-figure mark in network marketing? Because that's what most people, like, I would say maybe 90% of people that get started in network marketing, that's like their goal is it's like 10 grand a month, right? 10 grand a month, 6 figures. It's like, okay, how do we help you do that? And then how do we help you duplicate that levels deep in your business? And we have a system that we've put together that helps people do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Which brings us to our next question, right? How do you do this? So,
well, it's 4 steps. It's 4 steps. It's a 4-step system. And the 4-step system, a lot of companies, they say, oh, we have a system, right? Or a lot of uplines, they say, oh, we have a system. And you get it started and you find that system is, let's make a list of everyone you know. We're going to message and we're going to call them all. We're going to invite them to an online meeting or maybe an in-person meeting or whatever that may be. And then we're going to enroll them. And then we're going to teach them to go do the same, right? It's like, oh, we're going to find 2 and those people are going to find 2. And then, oh my gosh, you're making 6 figures in your business in 6 months, right?
Yep. The classic find 2 that find 2. Yep.
Yeah. And what we've found is that's not a system. That's not a system. They can say it's a system, but a system is like a step-by-step, piece-by-piece process that is broken down that gets you a certain result by following that system and that step-by-step process. And so you can't just say, oh, we're going to message and call everybody that we know, because everybody has different influence levels. Everybody has a different network. Everybody has different skill sets. They have different mindset coming into network marketing, right? And so somebody who naturally has a network and naturally has influence over their network, they can go and they can talk to anybody and they're going to sign up. Whereas someone like me getting started, I had a lot of friends, but nobody that trusted me enough to do business with me. So it's like, how do you help both of those people? Mm-hmm. Well, we have a system that we've put together. It's a 4-step process that is all about attracting the right people, growing that targeted network, engaging with them to build that know, like, and trust, and then promoting in a non-salesy and a non-hypey way, all through social media that can be duplicated by anyone. And what's really, really awesome about it is that regardless of your previous experience, maybe you are a leader in network marketing and, you've had a system that you've had in play for who knows how long, and it got you to where you're at, but you've hit that wall, you've hit that glass ceiling. Or maybe you haven't had results, or maybe just maybe you're having results but your team isn't able to duplicate your results. So it's like, how do we put something in play that works for anyone, regardless of where they're at? Even if you yourself are doing something that's working and you're making 6 figures in your business, if your team is struggling to do the same, right? If you can go out and enroll 100 customers a month, but your team can't, it's only a matter of time before they start to question, is this really cut out for me? Because I can't do what so-and-so is doing. And what's really cool is that once someone understands how to create a network, how to grow a network of the targeted people, and then how to build influence, it's not a matter of if they're going to have results at that point, because you're teaching them the skill sets and the mindset that's needed to become that 6-figure earner. And we kind of shift their identity into an actual business owner, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So what happens when people don't understand this process? Let's say I just get online, right? And I'm like, okay, great. Carrie gave me the secret sauce, right? I'm going to grow an audience. I'm going to engage with that audience, and I'm going to promote to that audience. What happens when they don't understand the process?
You're going to hear a lot of crickets on your posts. You know, when you think of like, oh, it's so quiet, you can hear crickets. There are 9 times out of 10, I know when someone really truly understands the system and how to duplicate that system, because I can go to their page and they have comments from people other than their team. You can see that their audience is continuing to grow, and they're actually recruiting people into their team, and they're sharing their results, right? Like they've actually recruited this person, or they've enrolled this person. Like when people don't understand the system, first off, they stay stuck. You go to their social media profile and it looks like a billboard for their company 9 times out of 10. And not only that, but it's the engagement piece. It's like, are you actually getting into conversations with the right people? Or is it your mom and your upline that continues to post comment on every single post that you have? People notice when you only have 2 or 3 of these same people commenting on every one of your posts. And chances are you're not getting the results that you want because you're missing just a few tweaks. Sometimes people will have pieces of the process, right? But they don't know how to do it in the right order. And they end up, I don't know how another way to say it other than they, not other than attract, they repel. Mm-hmm. Like they end up repelling everybody that they're trying to attract, even if they have certain pieces of the system right. But if they're not doing it in the right order and they're not doing it in the right way, they end up staying stuck and repelling all of the people that they're trying to attract.
Perfect. So would somebody that's like listening right now, how would we explain that it's like, because it kind of sounds a little complicated if you don't know, right? Like the ins and outs of all the things, right? So somebody that's just new or meeting us for the first time, they're like, whoa, like now I got to grow this audience and I got to do this and I got to do that. Like what makes it so that it's easy, right? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, first off, automation. Like if you're not using automation in your business, I'm telling you right now, you are working way too hard for your money, regardless of the amount of money that you make. You do not have automation in place. A couple really simple, easy to learn tools is all it takes to save hours and hours and hours in your business each week.
Yeah, I think we were just adding this up, right? Like last week or the week before. And we were like, okay, how much time have we saved some of our students? And I think it was like over 150 hours a month or whatever, wasn't it? Like something like that. Crazy pants.
Like with one tool. Yeah, it was 105 hours with one tool. That isn't even counting the other tools that we've put together, right? And put in place and created to like really help people use automation
right
in their business. And so it's like if you're not using automation, when it comes to social media, you have 2 choices. You can either put in the time yourself in doing things, which is when you look at the amount of time that you spend like maybe getting into groups,
Mhm.
trying to find the right people, or when you look at the time that you're spending in creating content, or the time that you're spending messaging and trying to keep track of all of the people, that all of the conversations that you're having, that's hard. Like, that's working hard for your money. Whereas if you can commit to like learning one simple tool that can, create a year's worth of content in 5 minutes, how much easier does that sound than what you might have been doing already? And everybody say hi to Kateson. He's my oldest. The oldest. But it's really learning simple. Like it's one thing to like say, okay, I understand the steps. But if you're not committed to mastering the steps and then using the simple tools that help those steps become easy, you're going to continue to flounder. It's like, how do you make sure that you guarantee your own success? And how do you make sure that you guarantee your own success the easiest way possible?
Yeah, and not only that, but duplicate your success with your teammates, right? Because nothing's worse than being on an incentive trip or, winning an award, and it's just you. You're like, well, this is dumb, right? Like we've done it before when we've won an incentive trip, when it was just me and you, and we were like, well, where is all of our real cool friends that we wanted on this incentive trip, right? But we weren't there.
It's so hard to have fun on the beach in Mexico when you know that the leaders that got you there weren't able to get themselves there.
Yeah, it's
right. And that's really that was actually what sparked us creating this system in the first place. Was we were on that incentive trip alone and we're like, okay, this is never going to happen again. How do we get as many people on our team on this incentive trip with us?
Yeah, because it was really sad and we felt guilty. Like it was almost like we were standing on the shoulders of our really cool team and they didn't get the reward. We did. And it was like, I don't want to be here without them. Right. And I'm sure if you're watching, replay or live or whatever, that you might have experienced that before. You're like, well, that was great. I just went the next rank, but none of my other teammates, did that or didn't come with me. So it's kind of lonely. Slow that up, right? Way more fun than bring the whole team with you. All right. So
absolutely.
The next place I want to go is what holds people back from, just diving all the way in and taking on this automated prospecting machine. What holds them back, do you think?
100% their internal beliefs. Like the way that you view yourself. It's everything in business, in life, like anything that you want to do. And so it's like, a lot of times people feel like, oh, maybe I'm not cut out to be successful, right? You know how when maybe you've tried something time and time again, maybe you've been in network marketing, multiple companies, multiple times, and maybe you had some success and then it fell apart, or regardless of what that is, when things don't work out, if we don't know how to evaluate why things aren't working, we end up blaming ourselves and it becomes a self-worth issue. Rather than, how about we create an identity shift? When we can shift our identity from someone who's just dabbling our feet, or someone who is just kind of floundering, or someone who hasn't quite mastered a process, to shifting that identity to that of a six-figure earner, to someone who gets results. It's like, how do we get results? We have to shift our internal beliefs. We have to shift how we think about ourselves, how we think about our business, how we think about helping others. Like if you're sitting there and thinking, well, I'm not a leader. How am I supposed to help people be successful? Unless you know how to shift out of that identity into that of a leader, you're always going to struggle. Right?
Right.
Yeah. You can't just say, oh, like without intention, walk around and say, oh, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to learn that. And then, oh, I'm a millionaire, right? That's not how life works. Like there's always a process. There's always a process to creating wealth. And when you shift that identity into mastering whatever that process is, it's not a matter of if you're going to be successful, because you're now thinking and making decisions like a six-figure earner would. You're how you take action, the intention behind your actions changes. And that's when results come. And I like to, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, he wrote a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X. And inside that book, he talks about the 4 C's. And the first thing that we have to do is like commit. We have to commit to a certain process or to a certain system. And we have to be courageous enough. That's the second C. Be courageous enough to get beat up a little bit, to know that we're going to suck in the beginning, and that's okay, because anybody who's great was once good, right? And they simply were committed to that, and then they become capable. That's the third C. Like, if you commit, you're like, you know what? I'm going to do this until I'm great. We become capable after doing it a few times. And then by evaluating, we become confident. Each time we take action and we evaluate, we become confident. And that's how you shift into from getting no results or not getting the results you necessarily want into being that leader who's up on stage, into getting the results that you want, whether it be, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. Heck, you might be that person that you're like, I'm shooting for the moon. I'm going for 7 figures. If that's the case, then we need to follow a simple process to not just getting ourselves there, but getting our team there as well. And you know what? I know the next thing you're going to say is like, okay, what else holds people back?
Yeah, what else holds them back?
I'm like, here's the thing. People will be like, oh, I don't have time, right? I want to shift that thinking to like, you don't have time not to learn this, right? We don't have the time, or you can't afford not to learn this. Because how long have you gone not making 6 figures in your business? If you're not making 6 figures in your business, do you have a process in place right now to get you there and your team there? If you don't, that is costing you 6 figures a year. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So and it doesn't matter, like previous results, whatever that may be, whatever you are thinking in your mind right now of, I can't do it because XYZ, you fill in that blank. I'm telling you right now, it's an excuse. And it is the thing that's keeping you from actually becoming a 6-figure earner in network marketing.
Absolutely. Because people could tell themselves stories all the time. I mean, there's people, right, that have built network marketing and online, and they work a 60-hour-a-week job. It's because they know the system. They have the process. They know exactly what they need to do, and they've stopped wasting time. They've collapsed time in their favor. And that's how they do both, right? Like some people look at, some of our results and they're like, how did you even do that? We learned how to collapse time by using systems and automation and evaluation. Those are the 3 things that really made the huge difference for us. All right. So what should people listening do next?
Well, we've got so we told you guys needed to stay till the end because we had something really cool that we've put together. So we have a masterclass that is coming up. It's a brand new masterclass. We've never done it before. But inside this masterclass, we're taking this simple 4-step system. We're breaking it down for you into bite-sized, easy to follow chunks, and we're teaching it all to you. And so we want to invite you to this masterclass. And I'm curious, before we, drop all the goods, for those who are watching, whether it's live or a replay, I'm curious, like, how many of you have tried recruiting on social media before? Or maybe you've tried to grow an audience on social media before, or you've tried to do some of the things that your upline has told you, but it makes you feel icky, or you feel so overwhelmed you don't know what to do. Or maybe you know what you're supposed to do, but you're like, I know that if I don't want to do this, I know that anybody that I bring in isn't going to want to do this. And so you're just stuck. Like, if that's you, drop in the chat, in the comments, let us know. And I know one time when Brandy and I were like, okay, we're going to go and we're going to try and we're going to figure this out. This was before we had figured out the system. We thought we were just going to try and figure it out ourselves. And so we started going into you guys know like Facebook yard sale groups, the buy and sell groups?
This is so embarrassing.
Later, we started joining any and every yard sale group that we could find
Across the U.S., not just in our
across
town.
the entire United States, like Maine buy and sell. Like, I don't know what's the capital of Maine. I guarantee you, I was in that buy and sell Facebook group, and Brandy and I would post work from home opportunity posts because that was how we were trying to make this work.
We didn't tell anybody it was network marketing because if we did, they wouldn't answer.
No, and we found when people would say, "Oh my gosh, what is it?" Yes, I want to work from home. We had like thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Like, so we'd send like this copy and paste message to them about what it was, and nobody ever wanted to do it. Like thousands of messages. When we figured out it was network marketing, they were like, "Nope, we're out." Right? But we were trying to get the result, and they had said, "Go on social media. Everybody's on social media." But what we had done was we had just taken the old school stuff that we were doing and moved it online. There was no process to it.
Which a lot of people are doing still, by the way. So,
And a lot of people are doing it. And so it's like, it might be time to ask yourself a couple questions. Is the current strategy I am using on social media working? How is it working? The next piece you need to ask yourself is, how do you feel using the strategy that you're using? Because even if something's working, if it makes you feel like you want to die every single time you go to do that thing, it might be time to like evaluate and like try a different way of growing, right? Because if you get that icky feeling, if you have a pit in your stomach when you're following that process, you can guarantee that every single person that you are trying to bring into your opportunity is looking at how you're growing your business. And if they feel yucky, they're going to disappear just as fast as they get started, right? Everybody with me? So that's why we've created, and here's the name of the masterclass. It's our Automated Prospecting Machine Masterclass, okay? So it is going to be this Saturday, all right? And it's a half day. It's a 4-hour masterclass where we're going to go deep. We're going to go deep with you to like help you get past the issue of growing an audience, showing you how simple one tool, one strategy that we use can grow your audience automatically, right? One tool that we use. And then one tool that we use to help create so much engagement. So, I mean, really, like, can you imagine creating a year's worth of content in 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. 10. I mean, if you're not as tech savvy, it might take you 15. Like, that's how incredible this tool is that we use. And then using automation, engage and get people on your calendar. Like
the only thing that you're doing then at the end of this is literally meeting with the right people and saying you want in or not, right? And this actually happened to Carrie and I. I didn't believe it when we were taught this, but they said if you learn how to do this, you will have a calendar full of people that want to enroll in your team, and it never stops, right? I still, to this day, have people want to get into my team, and I'm not even building a team anymore. I'm just right? So it's so crazy, but it works. We're so excited. Bring your teams, bring your upline, bring your peeps that want results. Because listen, our goal here is to elevate the industry. We've gone through the pain, the suffering, all the things, and we love network marketing industry. However, we don't love the way most people build it. That's why we are so passionate about what we do, because now guess what we get to do? We get to stay home with our babies and build massive businesses online, and we have team members doing the same thing, and now it's your turn. It's your turn.
Yes. And, in fact, by the end of this masterclass, you're going to discover the exact prospecting and selling machine that will make you a heck of a lot more money and give you your time freedom back so you can actually enjoy building your business and have fun working with people you love. right? No more babysitting people. You're getting the exact system to attract and enroll high quality customers and team members and duplicate your way through the ranks to that 6-figure mark, all without being glued to your phone or like feeling like that salesy weirdo, right? It's like leveling up the industry, actually treating your business like a legitimate business and getting results because you've shifted your identity into that 6-figure earner, which we are super excited about. It's going to be,
you got to be there.
yes, you got to be there. Okay, so there's going to be a link attached to this video somewhere. It might be up above, down below, wherever that may be. What you're going to want to do is click that link, and we highly recommend you join this masterclass as a VIP, because VIPs, they're going to get an extra hour with us. And not only are they getting that extra hour, but they're going to get a cool workbook that they're going to be able to look back on so that you know exactly what you need to do every day to get results. You're also live with us in Zoom. So you're going to be able to, share your takeaways. You're going to be able to ask questions personally with us beaches there. So make sure you're there. Set your calendar, eliminate distractions, and this masterclass is going to be off the charts. It's going to be incredible.
So we'll see you there. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you Saturday.